All right. You guys can feel free to unmute yourselves if need be. I'm just going to kind of go over Premiere Pro, and I want this to be more of an interactive workshop. So if you guys have like questions that your teachers might not have, provided you, I'm here for you. Okay. All right. Are you guys all like in what grade? Sophomore, junior, senior, freshman? What's up?
I'm doing an MFA.
MFA? Oh, whoa. Okay. Are you MFA at Mason Gross?
Yeah, carry too.
Oh, word. What's up, guys? I guess you're at first years, maybe. I'm basically an alumni there. Perfect. Cool. Well, if you have any questions, let me know. All right. So to start off, have you guys used Premiere before? Yes or no? No.
Oh.
Okay. 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 Cool beans. So let me do a screen share right quick so we can get started. Oh man. All right. All right. Perfecto. You're self-taught. All right, got it. Understood. Understood. You too? All right. All right, Sila. Perfect. All right. Perfect. You guys can all see my screen, right? Excellent. Okay, so at least for this semester, if you're a media student or if you're a graduate student, you should be able to have Premiere for free. And that should stay that way until COVID situation calms itself down. All right. Also, this whole meeting will be recorded. So, if you need to go back and like look at certain things, go for it. And the camera's there, the monitor's there. So I'm looking this way. That's probably why. All right. So the first thing is first is that the way Premiere works is that essentially it's one of the many suite programs that is with Adobe. So you have things like Photoshop, things like After Effects and Animate and Illustrator are primary, like you can pretty much use these different programs in conjunction with Premiere. So that's kind of like the main selling point. There are other editing softwares that are out there, kind of like DaVinci Resolve, Final Cut, if you guys have heard of those programs as well. So that's kind of the reason why, let's say if you were using Premiere over those, it's because you want to use it in relationship to the other programs. But for today's purposes, we're going to do like kind of basic editing. So right off the bat, to start, we have 4 sections on Premiere. Top left, top right, bottom left. Okay, starting with your bottom left, this is your import section, folks. So essentially, when you start working on your projects, you're going to basically be dropping them off to the bottom left or importing them essentially. And the bottom right is your timeline. That's essentially where you do most of your editing. The top left is the effect controls area. It's essentially where you can see all the effects you're applying onto whatever's in your timeline. And of course, the top right is actually seeing visually the timeline. So, of course, as I'm talking, please just raise your hand or ask questions. Once again, I want to like just blab and do the lecture. All right. So, rather than doing file and import, I'm going to just cut to the chase and just go to a folder and drag and drop. So let's see. Let's drop some Pokemon in here. There we go. Perfect. I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie Pokemon. It's my childhood back in the day. All right. So anyway, bottom left, we have our import video. Okay. You can actually sort of watch here to make sure everything plays correctly without even putting it into the timeline. So you can make sure it's the right file. Just in case, some client were to give you something that is weirdly named, you can just sort of move your mouse cursor and just view the file. You can click it to see it on the top left. Okay. So if you recall, when I broke down the 4 sections, you had your top left being where you can sort of see the effects and what's within the file. Now, because it's not in your timeline, you're unable to sort of see what effects are in it. You're just able to see the image. All right. Within the top left, you see this little blue line here? This right here, guys, that's the timeline within the video. So I can use this to play back from left to right, essentially, the video. All right. By the way, if you want to open up Premiere on your computer and walk with me, you're more than welcome to. All I've done so far is I've opened up the program and I just dragged and dropped something to the bottom left. Okay.
I got a question.
What's up?
So how is like the source and the program like different from each other? Cause they kind of look similar, I guess.
Yeah. So basically, these are pretty much the same. Like this video and this video. This is just enlarging here, right?
Mm.
Okay. And then it's showing you, like for example, if I were to click this, this right here is the audio. So this allows me to basically edit or just drag to the timeline either the video by itself, the audio by itself, or all together. So let me show you an example to kind of, give more context to your question, right? So let's say if I were to click it and I were just to sort of drag the video. Now notice how it goes into this section, right? In the bottom right, but there's no sound. That's because I dragged it from this drag video only. In fact, I don't know if you guys can see the text drag video only pop up on my screen, right? But that's letting you know right now that if I were to drag it, it's just a video. I'm gonna delete this. If I were to go here to drag audio only, it takes that whole file and drags it. So now the audio is here, right? But there's no video. You follow me? So that's the real difference, that it's allowing me to basically pick and choose what I drop off within the source file. Does that make sense? Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, also, another cool thing too is that if I wanted to, I could actually select what I want to put in. So let's actually go to the video, and you see right here, I've actually made a mark in and mark out. If you were to right click, you can see the option mark in and mark out. So rather than dropping the whole video, right, I can select sections to drop in. Okay. So this is going over this basic stuff. So this is right clicking. That's all I did. You know what I'm saying? Mark in, mark out. And that's allowing me to select, before I put in the timeline, folks, what to put in there. Because you guys might have a 2-hour video and you don't want to edit the whole 2-hour video. You might just want to edit certain parts, right? Maybe you got footage for something, you know what I'm saying? And you want to just like bring in a little bit, like maybe like 5 minutes or 5 seconds of that footage. You don't want to just cut through that. You can just do it right here before it even goes into the timeline. Does that make sense? All right. Still in basics. Now do you understand how to select whether it's the whole video, the whole audio, or certain parts? Oh, someone else is popping in. All right. Or, so is this your second computer popping in? There's like 2 of you in here for some reason.
Yeah, I'm gonna logging into my iPad. Sorry. So
Oh, it's all good. I was just like, whoa, you have like a twin. That's so cool. Anyway, so basically now that you guys know how to drag and drop and what to pick, I'm just going to basically bring the whole thing over here. Let's actually remove the clear in and out, and let's just drag and drop the whole thing. Bam. So now we have on the top right here what is being shown in the timeline. Now the timeline is probably the most important part of this whole equation. Okay, this is essentially where you will doing most of your editing. And I want to break down kind of how your timeline is sort of situated before we begin talking about the tools. All right, and let me know if I need to slow down if you guys have any questions. So first we have essentially, well, the blue line itself. It's called timeline because of this blue line right here. When this blue line moves, it increases the time depending on where you are in the video or footage or audio. All right, so you can sort of see here, you're 19 minutes, 24 seconds in until you get all the way up to the end, right? So this right here is your timeline, literally. You can also go to the top left, and if I were to hit effect control, right? Check this out. This timeline moves with the same timeline up there. You see that? In that top left? Right? Right? We're going to get to what those were, like the motion and all that in a minute. I want to talk about the timeline first. Okay? So yeah. Now we have the 2 sections, V and A. V means video, and A means audio. Okay? Now, V1, V2, V3, and its respective A areas is basically telling you what type of layers are there. Okay? The way it works is, I have a background in painting when I was an undergrad. So like when I thought of Premiere, growing up, right? It was like this idea of like I would layer images like I would layer paint, you know what I mean? And it would always sort of, if you were to make the top layer transparent, right, it shows more of that bottom layer. So if you're adding effects and try to like, you know, spruce things up to your own aesthetic, it's all about like how you do the layering, if that makes sense, right? And there'll be more workshops that go into more like advanced tricks to layering. But just for now, when we do sort of basic things, just remember that like V1, the bottom layer, V2, the top layer, V3, and the same thing with the audio, right? Just that you're kind of going from top to bottom versus bottom to top. And before someone asks, you can add as much layers as you want. All you got to do is right click, you go to add track, you right click in this section, add track, and you see this screen pops up. So you can actually type in the amount of video layers or audio layers you want to add. You follow me? So I can add like, you know, 5 more, bam. See that? Done. Okay. And I can, of course, adjust. I can put my mouse here. You'll see the symbol pop up. And I can adjust the screen to be smaller, larger, all depending on the layers I have. So if I have like maybe like 22 video layers, I might want to have this image smaller, right? Now, next thing, all right, before we get to going over here again, let's talk about how to cut an image. So with Premiere, all right, this mouse, when you see it, is your normal. This is your default. You can always return to this by hitting the V letter on your keyboard, whether it's a PC or Mac. To cut, you hit C. You have this sort of razor tool pop up. And all you got to do is go to any part, and boom, you're cutting it. You can tell that it's cut because a line appears right here, right? That essentially lets you know that there's a separation between these clips. You follow me? Right? So I can actually move this around wherever I want it to. Okay? Now, typically, I tell my students that before you do any type of cutting, right, you might want to make sure you do what's called unlinking the video and audio. And what that means is that you're able to cut without affecting the audio. Now, I have my settings, because I use Premiere a bunch, default to always unlink, because I know just to have that done. But typically, if you're using Premiere like on a school computer, or even if you download it for the first time, you got to do this manually. So the way you do this, you highlight it, you right click, and you guys see this menu that's popping up on my screen, right? Is this all clear? This menu? Bet. You go to unlink, and bam. Okay? So now you can move this around, and then move the audio around separately. Okay. Now, when something is cut, you can still play it, and it's perfectly fine, right? It's not going to affect anything when it's cut, right? There's no audio hiccup. There's no like, oh my God, the image is like weird or et cetera, right? Nothing happens. However, when you start moving things around, right, that's where your video hiccups might happen, okay? And we'll get into how to sort of make sure you do what are called sort of transitions that kind of like act as a Band-Aid or some sort of mend between the two different cuts, if that makes sense. But remember, you return from cut by hitting V. So cut is C, and then V is back. Questions so far? We good? Bet. The hand tool lets you sort of move things around. Personally, I just keep it with the mouse. Just move it with the mouse. You know, some people like the hand tool. I won't get on your case if you like the hand tool. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the top left. All right. So essentially, the top left is where we get to sort of how we're doing basic movement, basic edits without adding effects. These are effects that are inherent to every clip. Every image, folks, has a position, scale, rotation, or just motion in general. And then every image has opacity. This kind of ties in and foreshadows what I was mentioning about the layering, and we'll get to that right now, actually. But first, deal with motion. So with motion, all you got to do is you go to, let's say, one of these numbers. Let's say the first one. This one moves it from right to left. The first one. First one's right to left. All I'm doing is I'm holding my mouse towards it. It disappears, and I move my mouse right, move my mouse left. Okay. Same can be said for up and down, right? That's the second one. Scale allows you to zoom in or make it larger or make it smaller. Okay. All right. And the same can be said for rotation. For now, we're going to not worry so much about anchor point, but this is going to be important for if you're doing things that are revolving animation. Okay. Or just sort of like making sure the camera stays in a certain position. Next, we're going to talk about opacity. Opacity is essentially what allows you to kind of give your layers a certain level of aesthetics or effect that gives it the illusion of reflecting light in a certain way. Okay? So, for example, right, if I were to go to opacity and hit linear light, nothing happens, right? That's because what I mentioned prior, guys, is that it's going to affect the image when you have something below it. So remember, if you're going to work with opacity, you want to do something like this. Watch. I'm going to move this layer to V2, okay, the one I actually went to opacity and added the linear light. And then I'm going to move it above an image. And then check that out. See? So normal, linear light, hard light, linear burn, etc. Right? So there are many ways, even of course, you can decide how much opacity you want by percentages. Okay. So if you're layering images, something you can do. Now, all this is pretty simple. This is where I think the fine artists in the room, which AKA all you guys, kind of get like, oh, wait, so we can start doing, maybe some play with this. Notice, guys, each effect, right, has this clock icon next to it, right? You see this? Right? Has an error. If you go over it, it says toggle animation. Now, I'm going to have a separate demo that goes over this animation in general, but I do want to show you this because I think this is basics, and I think it's something that people miss a lot, and it kind of helps you if you're on a budget or if it's COVID and you don't have a camera that can do certain things, you can have Premiere act as the camera for you, if that makes sense. And here's how. So remember how I showed you the left to right thing, right? Remember this? Well, what if I can have the program do it by itself? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go to the clock icon, aka toggle animation. I'm going to click it, and you're going to see this diamond icon appear right here in the timeline that is within the effect area. Is that clear? See that? See a little diamond shape right here? Okay, let me know if, guys not getting this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I kind of want this effect, this movement to begin like probably somewhere here. So I'm going to move the diamond here. This first diamond, folks, is where the movement will begin, is where the animation, the level of positioning will begin to change. But I want it to change, so I must add an endpoint. So let's say, for the sake of us seeing it happen, not too far, I want it to happen right here. I'm going to move this now to the far left, super left, right? So what happens? Let's watch. Let's go here and play. See that? So right there, it basically, the camera moved to the right, the Premiere camera. How can I have this be more applicable to it being an actual camera? Well, first, let's not have it be as drastic, right? Let's do something that's more smooth. Let's move it a little bit to the left. Let's zoom in a bit, right? Make a nice pan. What happens here? See that? Insert whatever film, video, or thing you're doing to what I just showed you here, right? You can sort of see the power of having this sort of invisible camera within here. And of course, that's just something simple like moving left to right. I mean, we can, of course, do something like, here, for the sake of this, I'm just going to delete these. By the way, delete them. All you got to do is just highlight them by holding. You'll see this icon appear. The mouse will change like just like plus sign. You put this net around it, and you hit backspace. Done. Nothing complicated. All right. So let's say if I want to do a zoom in, I hit that that little clock icon, toggle animation, diamond appears here, and then I zoom in. Bam. Right. And then of course We get here. Let's see if it starts zooming in for us. There we go. Right? And of course, I can have these happen at the same time. So I can actually have the zoom happen when the movement here happens. And you can tell when it happens because you see here, the numbers start moving. See that? See these numbers moving? So that's actually letting you know that like the movement is happening in real time right now. All right. So that's, to me, it's kind of something that's pretty exciting. So you can actually apply this to anything. So not to give you guys, something that is like very, inducive of getting sick, but let's say for rotation, right? I could do something like this. Or actually, let's make it normal first, and let's times 90. How would this look? See? And then, of course, I can, let's stop it there, have it zoom in as it spins. Right? And you can insert that effect with having something below, right? So rather than like just having that one image, what if that was a transition that like the screen sort of spun around and it like popped in the frame, right? Adieu. Let's make this little diamonds better like that. Or actually, just delete it. And there we go. Let's just have it spin. And then spin. And there you go, right? Now, all those are effects that are inherent to each clip, okay? Now, before I move on to some basic effects that are within Premiere Pro, do you guys have any questions on what I just showed you? Talk to me. Nah? We good? I'm assuming, Carrie, you're pretty chill as well. Haven't heard anything from you. All right. Cool. Bet. So I'm going to delete these timers. And by the way, this is another kind of tidbit. You see how these are blue? If you don't want to have effects sort of like, how should I say, not be consistent, make sure they're not turned on, the toggle animation. So I'm going to actually go to audio so to show you what I mean. So with audio, right? Well, there will be a audio demo that is separate, for basic audio editing, like turning up the volume, things like that. So you see how it says level here? That's your volume. So if I were to, let's say, turn the volume up and be like, oh, it should be louder, right? But then I go here, I'm like, oh, actually it should be, a lot quieter. Notice how I now made two different diamonds. That's because with audio, toggle animation is automatically on because the program is assuming that you're trying to edit the audio in different zones. You follow me? So typically, if you're just doing like a small clip, if you're doing a film, you probably are. Like, I don't see why you have a film where you're just turning up the volume everywhere. You're kind of adjusting it. That's just audio editing. But I would make sure this is off, right? And it'll tell you, hey, you're going to delete the keyframes. Are you sure, man? And you're just like, yeah, man, I'm good. And there you go. So I can actually just like edit the volume like that. Okay. And then for speaking of audio, hopefully Damien doesn't kill me for showing you this. He might show you this later. But with audio editing, right, you have, if you're using speakers or headsets, you have the left side of your ear and right side, right? So sometimes you might want to have like spatial awareness if you're doing a performance piece, right? Where like maybe the audio is over here and it moves in space to like, the right side, right? This is called sound staging, creating a sort of sound stage where you're kind of like understanding like where the object is in space. So you'll have your left and your right, okay? So the left is the left side of the ear, right's the right. So I can actually turn this all the way up to have the left side be more dominant, or I can turn it all the way down to have the right side just completely not be there. And remember what I said, I can actually have it to where either A, it's gonna have an animation happen to where like I can have the volume start loud and then go low and then have the right side turn up. See that? The same way as I showed you position. So remember, every effect, everything you do on Premiere has the ability to have these tall animations happen to where you can sort of adjust and have things happen in real time to change. You follow me? That's the sort of, the beauty of the editing even on a basic level. Now then, I'm going to blitz to some common effects that maybe might be useful to you guys, okay? So to access your effects on Premiere, you simply go to the bottom left and you go to effects. All right. And then from there, you're going to see video effects and you're going to see video transitions. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you basically how to do what I would say are filters. Like if you guys use it like Instagram or TikTok or whatever, you know, image filters. You guys being artists know that filters are there just to get an idea of what you want aesthetically. Obviously, you should sort of manipulate it to have your own type of thing. So to see the filters that are on Premiere, you're going to go to what's called Limitry presets. I probably butchered the name, but here we are. Okay, you're going to see cinematic, film stock, monochrome, speed looks, and technical. Okay, I won't show everything here. Like for example, monochrome, you can probably guess what monochrome does, right? But I will show you speed looks. Okay, so if I were to click speed looks, I'm going to go now to universal. We're going to see these Justin Bieber lookalikes over here. And then let's say I want to like, you know, pick, oh, it says blue day for night. I wonder what that is. Oh, it makes the image more blue. It adds more of a blue tint to it. Okay. Control Z, let's turn that off or, you know, get rid of it. Blue intense. Okay. A little bit more lighter blue. Okay. By the way, I'm hitting Control Z to undo, but if you want to have turn an effect off, you see where it says FX? This turns the effect off. So I can just hit that. Bam. See that? Effect off, effect on. Okay. So let's see here. Oh, what's blue steel? Oh my God, right? It adds like kind of like it makes the colors more bleach, less saturated in a way. And then going back to what I said, folks, about like adjusting it the way you want. So let's say if I actually like this, typically you want to now go into like basic correction, right? And mess around with the exposure yourself. Do you want to increase the contrast a bit, right? You know, don't just do the preset. That's just, again, there to make you feel like you know around the ballpark what you're looking for. You follow me? Of course, I probably not tell you guys this. You guys already know that. But that's how you do it. You find a preset, you go into it, and then you adjust it. Okay? And that's where that artistry of aesthetics come in. Okay? All right. So with that, that's basically how to do the filters. Okay, it's all in Limitry presets. You guys can play around with it. If I were to show you another one pretty quickly, it would be cinematic. This is basically kind of increasing the contrast to a large degree in the image. So for example, I can have it be like super faded like that, where it looks like it's like an old footage, very vintage. Let's turn that effect off. Or I can have it have a high contrast, right? There you go, or effect off. So, or even more higher contrast. And yes, you can stack filters. Just be careful because, you know, I don't know the specs of your computers, but, you know, the more filters you put on it, the more stress you're putting on your computers, and Premiere already kind of takes a bit of, you know, juice. And by the way, I am a tech guy, so if you guys want to go over specs and what's required for your computer to use Premiere, like what type of RAM, what RAM does, what a processor is, we can ask me those questions as well. Pretty savvy on that as well. All right, let's delete all these. Okay. So moving on now to other video effects that are useful. All right. So I'm going to go to video effects. You're going to see this menu pop down, right? Everybody sees this. So let's go to blur and sharpen. So some of you guys might get some bad footage that may be a little blurry, needs a bit of, you know, focus added to it. Now, there's only so much you can do to increase the pixel density of the image, right? But if you are in a situation where you want to try to like sharpen the image, you have the sharpen effect, drag and drop it, increase the sharpen. See that? Not sharpen, super sharpen, right? Not sharpen, really sharpen, right? It's almost like an etching. So this can help with footage that, you know, maybe your brother fucked up with like, you know, the whole image and then like whine it, you know, you need to like make sure it was good. All right. Though don't rely on it, guys. Now you also have the camera blur. All right. This right here, of course, blurs the image. You can of course adjust it. You can have it not be so blurry or really blurry. And remember, this exists, this right here. So you could have it start by being not blurry, right? And all of a sudden it becomes blurry, right? Let's give it some space. Or in this case, I did it backwards. I can just, by the way, you can also move the diamonds at any time you want. See that? So I can actually move this diamond to be here or back. So I did it backwards. I'm like, oh, okay, no big deal. All right, bam. So you can actually sort of see how the effect tells you how fast it's scaling to the next point, right? Right? Focus to blurry or vice versa. Okay? So that's camera blur. There are other blurs here. One that is pretty good is the channel blur. That's for color. All right, I'll show you that one. Just delete you, get out of here. All right, so this one, you know, if there's any painters in the house or those that like the color, this is typically what you guys would love. Watch this. So I'm going to go to channel blur. We'll go over saving stuff usually, but I have my thing set to save every like 5 minutes. You can probably guess why. I'm going to hit this. Watch this. Green blurriness. Bam. Look at that. Look, nice little green transparency here, right? I can have maybe a little bit of red happen, or in this case, maybe blue, right? So what this does, it adds a bloom effect. It gives like this sort of like luminosity, this light to your image. That's pretty dope. Okay. And then you go to repeat edge pixels. And what that does, it actually allows the effect to not sort of have this vignette looking sort of aesthetic to it, but it's like more flat and it goes to the edges. That's, again, the repeat edge pixels. Do you guys see that? I just checked it. All right. I'm going to show you guys a couple more effects, and I'm going to get to the final part, which is exporting. Okay. And then you can, you know, spitball me some questions you may have you want me to show you. Okay. So some final effects that I think you should probably learn. There will be a green screen demo. So keying, looking out for that. All right. Let's go to transform. I think we all can guess we probably want to crop some things, don't we? Cropping, right? All right, pretty basic. You want to basically drag that crop or double click it, and you're going to see where it says left, top, right, bottom. All you got to do to crop, move that slider, folk. Move the slider. See that? Bam, bam. As I said earlier, remember, you can always have these effects go on, so you can have it crop in real time, right? There you go, right? And then let's actually turn this right here off, put it back to normal, and I'm gonna show you guys one more thing before I show you how to export. So I showed you the crop tool, but most people forget that technically, if you want to be custom built when it comes to how you do your crops, not just like, you know, crop left, crop right, maybe have like a weird shape of how you want to crop it, right? You have the pen tool right here. And you notice how the pen tool is in every effect. Oh, okay. What's that mean, Dave? Where are we going with this, man? We'll check this out. All right. So I'm going to click the pen tool. You're going to now see mask path, mask feather, mask opacity, and mask expansion. All right. And then when you go to the image, you're going to have this pen tool automatically pop up. So what you can do is you can actually start clicking and drawing these vectors that will ultimately connect to whatever type of shape you want, right? You can, of course, adjust the vectors as you will, blah, blah, blah. But I have not done a crop yet. So what happens if I, let's say, bring this left, right, all the way here? So now everything in here is cropped left. See that? You hit the V. Right, go here. Now, to some, that might be problematic. It's like, well, what if I want to crop outside of here, Dave? Well, all you got to do is hit invert. Bam. See that? Now, use your heads. What kind of cool visual things can you do with this ability of image, of media, right? Oh my God, how much appropriation and collaging this, right? Nodding in the heads. Yes, yes, right? Okay, this is all basic stuff. I haven't shown you like, you know, major effect. This is just me saying, hey guys, every effect has the pen tool. Don't forget that. Even the blurriness part. Oh, I want to have just his face blurred, or maybe Ash's face blurred. Okay, well check this out. Bam. So now they're normal. He's blurred. David, it's so sharp. I want to have it smooth. Relax, guys. Check this out. You have, see, it says mask feather. Let's go here, man. Let's just turn that up. Look at that. It's clean. Look at that. Super clean, right? Yeah. All right. So I can actually have like a nice little gradualness as I turn up the feathering. Same can be said for the actual blur here. You know, I can feather that out more, right? Or I can expand it. Wait, gas, David, what about the filters you showed me way back in the day? Remember that shit? Oh yeah, man. What if I went to the filters, hit this babe right here, and then all of a sudden did the tool and then made only this part like that, right? And then I were to actually do a feather, so it's like blend in like a painting. Oh man, I just increased that one spot. Wait, what if I blurred the background like a painting and like made it blurry and made the foreground sharp? Oh, okay. So you guys see what I'm getting at with this, right? Cool, nodding the heads. All right, so that's the last of the basic stuff. If I were to go any more, I'll be kind of this lore dumping everything about Premiere. And then we want to like pace this out for the sake of you guys showing up to these things and, you know, telling your friends. So one last thing before I show you export. If you want to like edit a layer by itself, you can actually, let's say I go here, right? So we're seeing this layer. But I want to just edit the top layer. See this eyeball? Turn it off. All right. Oh my God, the layer disappeared. Relax. Just turn it back on. All right. So I can edit this by itself. Same can be said for there. If you're doing audio mixing, which Damien will go into, you can like have different audio layers. If you're like making like, you know, a song, it's like, okay, I want to listen to the drums, make sure like their impedance is good, make sure the trebles, whatever. There you go. You know what I'm saying? All right. Questions so far before I show you how to export? Talk to me.
The lock and the eye would work differently, right?
Are you talking? Because I think if you're talking, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, no, I'm talking.
Hold up. Let's see what's going on. For some reason, your voice is low. Can you guys hear Shreya or no? You can? Okay, it's me then. Oh God. All right, let's see what's going on here. Why can I not hear you? I am now wondering what's going on with good old Zoom here. Okay. Let's see. You're not muted.
No.
Okay. No, you're not. You're not muted. It's definitely me. My volume's up. Okay. What if I were to stop the screen share? Maybe there's something weird going on with that. All right, I'm gonna stop screen share right quick. All right, ask your question again. Speak.
Yeah, no, I was asking like what's the difference between like the eye and like the lock?
I can't hear you. What's going on? Oh my God. This is so weird.
Really?
And I see you talking and smiling so much. God dang it. All right, here. Talk one more time.
What's the difference between like the lock and the eye and like the bottom right?
Nah, Shreya, for some reason, I can't hear. Can you, do you mind typing your question? Yeah, just go ahead and type it. I'm gonna ask your carries. Oh man, why can't I hear you talk? What is going on? Freaking Zoom. Oh God, I was just talking.
Can you hear me?
I can't really hear you as well. Let's see. Is my audio turned in correctly? I hear music playing. Let's see. Let's go here. One second, guys. Let's see if it's on me. Maybe it's something that my audio setup just did. I'm gonna do a quick switcheroo. I'm gonna switch headsets right on camera. All right, let's see what's going on. All right. And okay, can you guys hear me? Okay, talk.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you
Yeah,
hear
I
me?
can hear you. Okay. Something with my amp. I guess my amp was acting up. I guess I have to throw this away later. All right, so everybody, let's ask the questions with voice. Even though I saw Carrie's first. What's the difference between the eye and the lock? When you're saying the eye and the lock, are you referring to this right here?
Yeah,
Actually,
no, that was my question. She
that was your
just
question too?
yeah.
Okay, cool beans. All right, so let me go back to screen share. Sorry about that. I don't know why my amp all of a sudden like muted you guys. Maybe it was like only I can talk. All right, so let's screen share this and let's show about that eye and the lock. So YouTube, the eye is not, so even when the eye is like locked out, right? I can still mess around with the effect here, okay? If I lock this layer, I can't do anything, okay? There's a difference, all right? The eye is just, hey, I want to look at this. But maybe in my brain, I know what this layer underneath looks like, and I want to adjust it still, right? You follow me? But if I lock that layer, you know, I can't mess with it. Now, perhaps this is a good thing. Maybe you've masterfully just edited that V1 smoothly. It's immaculate, right? You don't want to fuck it up or by accident, so you lock it. That's why you would do that. Maybe you were having someone help you edit and you locked that layer saying you don't edit that layer. Maybe you were doing sound editing. You were like, hey man, don't mess with the sound layer. That's why you would lock it. That's the difference. And since you brought that question up, y'all see this V1 area? See where it says V1 right there and it's blue? I'm gonna unlock this. So if you guys were to like do what's called copy and pasting, you guys probably know what that is, which I didn't show you here, but I guess I should. So you can copy and paste by right clicking, hitting copy, and then control V. Notice how it automatically pasted in the V1 area. You saw that, right? That's because V1's highlighted. If I were to click V3 and unhighlight V1, boom. See that? So also fun fact, guys, rather than just like right clicking and hitting copy, just hit Alt and then drag. And there you go. See that? Look at that. That's like the millennial zoomer way of doing it right there. You guys are good. Just do that. All right, cool beans. So that's 2 questions answered at once. Let's keep going. See other questions that were asked of me. Let me go to this chat. All right, T. Wait, Cleo, was it you that had a question? No? Oh, okay. I thought you had wrote something. I guess someone else did. That was you, Shreya. Okay. Other questions before I show you the exporting about anything here? Talk to me. So that's a no. No more. Okay, cool. All right. Then I guess I'm going to show you how to do export. So we're going to assume you have like the best edit you want, right? And for the sake of time, I'm going to like make sure this is like super not so long. Let's make it 4 minutes. I don't feel like exporting an 1.5-hour movie for a demo. I'm sure you guys understand. All right. Amazing edit. Good job. Your crit's going to be great tomorrow, guys. You want to export this. You're going to go to File. You're going to Export. You're going to make sure this is highlighted your timeline. You're going to make a big goof. You're going to really don't hate yourself when you have this highlighted and you re-export that stuff in here. Make sure this is highlighted. Whatever's highlighted with this blue line is what exports. Is this clear? I have students that mess this up. So that's why I have to like say this. All right. Export media. You're gonna have the screen pop up. Okay. So technically, what I'm about to say doesn't really apply on a whole because you can export this how you want. You know what I mean? Depending on the piece, the context, what it's going on, an iPhone, computer, you know, projector, etc. Do what you want to do. But for the sake of just defaults, the standard way of exporting is having it as an H.264 file. Okay? Clear? You want to make sure that the export video and export audio is checked. Otherwise, you're going to be missing one of these, which will be problematic. The output name, this is where you know where it's going. You're going to click it. It's going to tell you, hey, it's like going into the professional stuff area. All right? You guys are adults or semi-adults. You should have your computer organized and know where things are going. So make sure you have a folder that it's like the exports go here, right? You can decide what it's named, what it's called. So I'm gonna call this demo delete in 5 minutes. Okay. And then a couple of things here. All right. Oh, my Discord. Hello, guys. So let's see here. We're gonna go to maximum render quality. Make sure that's checked. All right. Basically, as you turn these on, these are basically making sure there are no glitches that will happen. There will be no artifacting. There's going to be no black screening. Sometimes when people want to rush before projects due, and they'll export before class, they'll see, oh, if I don't check this, it's faster of a render. Oh, I should do that. No, don't do that. Render at maximum depth and use previews so that you make sure there's no fuck ups. All right. Now, you'll see the estimated file size at the bottom. So it's 311 megabytes, okay? So you'll know if it's enough space on your USB, if you're sporting on maybe a flash drive or an external hard drive, right? That'd be all up to you. And you can do one final check on the timeline here to make sure everything looks good. Look at that, right? You know, maybe you're like, oh crap, what's this? Why is it green? I fetched up. I should probably go fix it, right? And then once you're done, export. And there you go. Ta-da. And that's how you export a video. And that, folks, ends the intro to Premiere. Now, things that maybe, since we have some time left, and even though I was waiting in the lobby and like, I guess the Zoom acted up and we started like 8 minutes late, I'll throw on 8 minutes. What questions you have for me, or you want me to maybe show you that, you know, might not be applicable to this demo, but because I know Premiere, I can just sort of tell you anyway and pretend I didn't tell you. Talk to me.
Is there going to be like another workshop on like video transitions?
Yes, but there can be one right now. So basically, the video transitions. This could be considered basic, but I tend to like have this as like, you know, learning more about like how to, you know, do more complex compositing. You click video transitions, you go to dissolve, and let's actually have a bunch of these so we can actually see how it transitions, right? There we go. Okay. So typically it starts, right? You're wondering, oh man, it starts so abruptly. All you gotta do is you go to dissolve, and you can drag over, let's say, film dissolve in here, and bam, you have the film dissolve popping up here. Okay? And you're probably wondering, well, David, I can't see it. Well, let's zoom in. You know, did I actually drag it there? Let's see. Oh no, it's there. He's got to zoom in a lot because it's a big movie. So as I zoom in, you see it? It's right there. By the way, I hit Z to zoom in. That's what I'm doing. All right. So I'm gonna go back to V. I can drag the dissolve to be super long, so I can hit this, and it's gradual, right? Or I make it quicker. And you can insert whatever type of dissolve you want here. See that? So it could be dip to white. All right. It can be one of these more playful ones, right? Typically, I would show dissolves alongside making custom dissolves, because I would say most people who do video editing, whether it's professional or artistically, would just make their own type of dissolves. You can put in a film dissolve, which is fine, but you could, remember guys, I showed you how to do the opacity. So rather than doing, you know, all this junk, why don't you just go to opacity, you know what I'm saying? You hit this clock tool, you turn that shit down, right? Turn it to 0, and you go over here and you turn it to 100, you know what I'm saying? Right? And you know what just happened? Oh fuck, I just did my own dissolve, right? That's the artist way of doing it. You know what I'm saying? There you go. And then of course you can actually, you know, make the diamond go this way as far as you want, right? And mess around with this effect. You could also, you know, maybe want to have a dissolve that has a weird shape to it. We saw a little, you know, you could just have this happen, right? As it dissolves in, right? Becomes this weird shape, okay. And then maybe it expands to become, you know, big again, right? Boom, right? Rather than having the cross, I mean, you can make your own cross. You want a cross? Make your own cross, right? Yeah, right? Yeah. So that's how you do dissolves, but that's a quick way of how to do custom dissolves. There is way more complexity to custom dissolves that I could show you. But that's going to be in the compositing one workshop, which is actually after the animation one. Now you wanted something that was pretty fun. She was like, David, show me animation. I was like, all right. But if you wanted to learn like more complex editing, that's going to be like the week after that. So that's probably like the last week of October, the week of Halloween. So yeah, cool. Does that answer your question?
Yep.
Bet. Other inquiries. I can show you guys some other things too. Okay, I assume assume we're good. Oh, all right.
I do have a question. when you open a new project,
Mhm.
what settings should you choose, or just go with the?
Let's find out. Project. All right, here we go. So this screen would pop up if you were opening Premiere for the first time, right? All I did, just to sort of show you, just for those who are like, wait, what? I went to File, I went to New, I went to Project. Okay? So you'll title your thing how you would want it, right? Okay? You would have already picked the location where it goes, right? And a renderer. So this is where we get to like specs. Do you guys know what a GPU is? Yes or no? Okay, who here does not know what a GPU is?
Me and
It's okay. I mean, it's a workshop. It's all good. Okay, so GPU is your graphics card inside of your computer. This usually allows you to like process things that are three-dimensional, that require effects, things of that nature. I look like I'm Darth Vader. Let me turn this light on. There we go. Much better. Okay, so the way that you want to set this up to your question, Cleo, if I pronounce your name right, correct me if I'm wrong, is that you want to make sure your renderer, if you have a graphics card, have it on GPU acceleration. If you do not have a graphics card, or if your graphics card is integrated, okay, so if you have a laptop and it's like not like a gaming laptop or a professional laptop, typically they have their graphics cards integrated. You want to have it on software only. Otherwise, you will crash your computer. Your computer will freaking crash because it has no graphics card. Okay? All right. I mean, for those who know what a graphics card is, here, I'll turn the camera this way. If you see my screen, so look at me. So that's a graphics card. Usually it goes, if you have a desktop, it's beneath the processor or fan, all right? Okay. If you have a laptop, it's probably not that big. It's a little bit smaller, but it's a separate chip, okay? It's not part of processor. Moving to video, just have it on timecode, have it on audio samples, not milliseconds, okay? And you want to have it on DV. Basically what I have my screen as right now. I kind of have it on the default as you should have it, okay? And then as far as for the size of the screen, so let's say, you know, this is 1920 by 1080. Whenever you import a video into your timeline, it's actually going to like take the settings of that video and make that the default, okay? So if I want to change that, I actually want to go to, which one is it? Is it Windows? No, it's not Windows. I believe it is, is it Windows? I want to change it from sequence. Here we go. Oh, that's right. Make sure it's selected. Audio. Let's go back. Full screen that. Sequence settings. There we go. All right. This is a perfect example. Make sure when you're looking for these things that you have the timeline highlighted. I didn't have it highlighted, so I'm like, wait, where is sequence settings? I couldn't find it because I didn't have it highlighted. Once this is here, you can sort of see the actual frame size. So I was actually off. It's actually 1280 by 720 is this movie. So if I want to have it by 1920, type it in. And you want to have it most likely 1080, right? All right, typical, all right? So, hey, you're changing the file size. Is that okay? Yes. And then bam, see that? Now this has changed. Now, tip, if your footage is like lower resolution and you made the resolution higher in Premiere, that's actually not really upscaling the piece. You're actually going to see the pixels even more. Typically, you want to have your actual footage to be automatically at the thing you're trying to upscale it to. So for this, you're not noticing as much because it's a cartoon or an anime, right? But if this was like an actual like live action, you'll kind of notice like a bit more of a blur if I upscaling something that is, you know, 2080 to like 1920. So, but Cleo, does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Word. Cool. Other inquiries?
I got one more. I mean, it's not related to Premiere, but
What's up?
so for the animation workshop, on like the Rutgers, like I guess Instagram, it says like it's on Monday and Wednesday, but on
Yeah,
sign up it says Tuesday or Thursday.
it does.
Yeah, so
What? Let's go on to sign up. I'm in charge of sign up. Who messed this up? Who do I need to hurt? All right, so this is the sign up page right here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I see this for intro. Okay, I see the mixing. These, my goodness. I'm telling you, man, COVID Rutgers is not what it used to be right now, man. My grad students, you understand probably where I'm getting at with that, but okay. Oh, man, and then wins. All right, cool beans.
Yeah, the date's also different. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. Already
Did I
messed this up on. Let's see here. This is the 19th, and that is the 21st. So yeah, let's move that back one. My goodness. God, it's embarrassing.
And I just was making sure because I wanted to like attend them, but like they clash with my classes on like Tuesday and Thursday. So
Oh yeah, we kind of made it to like Monday, Wednesday, because like most of y'all are free then. So usually schedule wise. But yeah, no, there you go. Yeah, so I'll be leading that one, and then Damien's gonna be leading the sound. Like, have you guys met Damien before or no? Ah, that's so sad. Damien's actually in charge of the cage for equipment, and normally you guys would have met him by now, but you know, good old COVID, we're all quarantined and isolated, so we don't, you know, see each other in a space. But yeah, you'll meet him next week if you're attending. And yeah, other inquiries. All right, cool beans. Well, all right, guys. Hopefully, if you guys have any questions, let me know. This will be uploaded onto our YouTube page, so you can always rewatch it. All right. My name is David. Feel free to email me if you have any questions. I am a PTL alumni from here. And yeah, I hope you guys have a successful semester and that you guys stay safe out there, okay? Sincerely.
thank you. Bye.
Thank you, David.
No problem. Take care. Chadios.
Bye.